clutching it as though it were her daughter herself, but the joy of its recovery was shadowed by dread. If the doll had traveled from a market stall to a thrift shop, what hands had passed it along? What rooms had it sat in, and what eyes had stared at it in silence over the years? Every stitch seemed to carry an untold story, one that would never be fully explained. The Amish community was left divided. Some saw the doll as a divine sign that Miriam was alive, desperately trying to send word through the only thing she could. Others viewed it as something darker, a cruel game played by someone who knew exactly what the doll represented. Rumors spread of a shadowy figure, always a step ahead, placing the doll where it would be discovered, and then vanishing before answers could be found. Whatever the truth, one fact could not be denied after 9 years of silence: Miriam's doll had resurfaced. But Miriam herself was still nowhere to be found. When the doll was finally returned to the Stoltzfus family, it was placed on Miriam's empty bed, exactly where it had rested the night she vanished. To outsiders, it was nothing more than a fragile relic of childhood, but to her parents and siblings, it was a reminder of the life that had been ripped away. Her mother often sat beside it in silence, running her fingers over the worn fabric, whispering prayers as though Miriam might somehow hear them. Yet with each prayer came the same torturous question: if the doll had endured, why hadn't Miriam? Investigators could not shake the strangeness of the doll's journey. Who had kept it safe all those years? Why had it appeared first in a market stall, and then in a thrift shop? To them, it didn't feel like coincidence, it felt like choreography. Someone was placing the doll in plain sight, ensuring that it resurfaced just long enough to ignite questions, only to slip back into obscurity. It was a breadcrumb trail with no destination, a cruel game of shadows. The lack of answers only deepened the unease. For the Amish community, the mystery took on a life of its own. Whispers filled Sunday gatherings, stories spreading from farm to farm. Some believed Miriam had been taken but was still alive, trying to signal for help through the only object she could cling to. Others warned of darker forces, that the doll was cursed, a vessel of torment, returned only to mock the family's pain. Children, once told bedtime stories of angels and protection, now heard hushed warnings to stay away from the woods and the road where Miriam once walked. Fear had seeped into a community that prided itself on peace. The more the doll was studied, the more unsettling details seemed to emerge. Threads that should have frayed remained unnervingly strong, as if someone had carefully repaired it over the years. The faded blue dress appeared washed, too clean for something supposedly lost for nearly a decade. Who had cared for it? Who had ensured it did not decay, as if waiting for the right moment to reveal it? The object that should have been nothing more than cloth and thread began to feel like a witness. Mute, yet carrying a story no one could read. Even today, the mystery of Miriam and her doll lingers like a ghost. Some claim to have seen the doll again in private collections.